get idle, not idle, but when you get to ingest, and there's probably a lot of ingesting going on around the park today. When you get to ingest as much poetry as I've done, it's sort of it begins to mull and it begins to steep, and it needs to go somewhere because, you know, my inspiration is y'all and the world around me. So let's see what's come out of that experience over the last 2 hours and find out something new maybe we don't know. It struck me as I was driving here that the Philosopher's Rock actually went much, much deeper than a single boulder. It struck me that the Parthenon was somewhere and there were poets sitting on it, going much, much deeper and much, much older. It struck me that there are places on the Pergnalis and on Twin Falls and Blue Hole and Enchanted Rock. And I don't know enough about those states outside of Texas to tell you, but there are other places outside of Texas that also have rocks and boulders and creeks and lakes, where people do what I think comes natural in this confusing, mixed up, muddled, crazy world. They chatted them all out. And they chatted them out, and in getting them out there and sharing them, they became clear. I tell my son he should write notes as much as possible, because the ideas in our mind can't be seen. They're muddy and dark. I also told a friend that it's much more powerful to write with your actions than to write with your words. She'd been debating about going to an open mic. So whether you're a poet sitting under this shade, or you're a poet walking down the street, or you're a poet flying by, or a poet sitting on rocks, it's our actions that define our poetry. And I'm as much, well, maybe not, I'm as much a believer, maybe not, in events as Tom is, but maybe not. We celebrated a birthday recently. I like to think that special events like the Barton Springs Festival allow us to extend ourselves into all festivals. We can analogize to what's happening in Paris today. There may be a Rhine Festival, or in Houston, a Deer Park Festival. So on this, what I like to call the Day of All Days, and I probably stole that from Rumi. On this, the Day of All Days, let it all go, swim in the water and get really cold and chilly and refreshed. Stop by for some kind words and yes, praise. Y'all are doing great. Did y'all go in the pool? Yay! Dip down, dig deep, draw it out. The nice thing about Barton Springs, it happens without the least bit of effort. And I definitely think all efforts should be made to preserve its critters and creatures and floaty, swimmy animals. And if we're to take stock of something and to gather unto ourselves something powerful and meaningful from a single day's festival, it's that we may hope that the waters never stop flowing. The emotional ones, the high pressure ones, the spiritual and satisfying ones. But if you happen to be so lucky as to turn outward on this Day of All Days, remember those who may not have such festivals and honor them, not by bowing a head, but by celebrating more.